How much does the XG Mobile change the ASUS ROG Ally experience? Is it worth that high buy-in price? Find out as I go hands-on with the XG Mobile 2023 and test out 3 hard-to-run titles that push both devices to their limits. The first question you've got to ask is, what exactly is the XG Mobile? Think of the XG Mobile as a portable graphics card. Whereas normal graphics cards, the part of the PC that handles the visuals essentially, are normally implanted inside of a PC, external graphics cards can be connected through ports on the outside of a device. With the XG Mobile, ASUS has created a mobile graphics card that integrates with specific ASUS products through a proprietary connection. That special connection, also known as a PCLE, is also able to help avoid bottlenecks, that's according to ASUS. Although the graphics card is the main hook, the surrounding dock also features connections for HDMI 2.1 and DisplayPort 1.4, 4 USB 3.2 slots, an SD card reader, and a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet connection. For the purpose of this review, I'll be reviewing the 2023 XG Mobile, which comes equipped with the powerful NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 laptop GPU on the inside. There are different models with different graphics card configurations on the inside though, so if you are picking one up, be sure to check which version it is you want before making any decisions. It's also worth noting the RTX 4090 and RTX 4090 laptop GPU are 2 separate cards. Both are extremely powerful at what they do, but the desktop equivalent will normally always outperform the laptop version. The fact the XG Mobile 2023 isn't as powerful as the desktop RTX 4090 card isn't something that should be really taken as a negative. The laptop version inside the XG Mobile is still super powerful, but in any comparison between desktop and mobile GPU, chances are the desktop version will always come out on top. That's just the nature of the tech. Now let's dig into the fun stuff. The benchmarks I'm about to show you are my way of pushing the XG Mobile and RTX 4090 as hard as I can with the options available, all while it's connected to the ROG Ally. It is possible to overclock the XG Mobile and the ROG Ally, but for the purpose of this test I wanted to keep things balanced, so I've chosen to stick with the stock options just to give you an idea of what is and isn't possible. Also, rather than going with one set preset, I've gone with 3 to get a range of different responses. The 3 presets I'll be going with are as follows. ASUS ROG Ally, which is your standard configuration of the ROG Ally without anything attached to it. The XG Mobile at 1080p, where every setting is as high as possible and the resolution is set to 1080p. And XG Mobile at 4K. Every setting here will be as high as possible again, and the resolution will be set to 4K. The biggest problem with No Man's Sky is the constant hitching when loading into new areas. Although this problem persists on both Xbox and PlayStation, so I'd wager it's a game problem rather than an XG Mobile issue. It's also worth noting, No Man's Sky features triple buffering, a type of VSync designed to eliminate screen tearing, which means often I'll have to lock my frame rate to 60 frames per second. What I found with the XG Mobile hooked up is 4K is super consistent, but the lower frame rates are more stark than when you're running it at 1080p. And for a game with such a hitching problem, I'd wager 1080p is the way to go. Cyberpunk 2077 is the perfect game to push the XG Mobile and the ROG Ally as far as it can go. Developer CD Projekt Red recently included the bleeding edge tech path tracing to the game, and that simply isn't possible on most graphics cards at the moment due to how complex the whole system is. In other words, it requires a ton of power to get up and running smoothly. So obviously I had to check to see how well the XG Mobile could cope under such pressure. For science! As well as path tracing, I also turned on the highest settings and the highest level of ray tracing. The results were genuinely shocking. Despite how much I threw at the XG Mobile and the ROG Ally, the combo was still able to run the game at around 45 frames per second in the main world and a little over 30 when driving. There is a gulf between frame rates of 4K with ray tracing and 1080p without, but the fact that XG Mobile is even capable of running Cyberpunk 2077 at this level of fidelity is surprising. It's not as smooth as its 1080p cousin, but it's still playable. I'd imagine most won't want to play at this level, but if you're after something to show off the true power of the XG Mobile, Cyberpunk with ray tracing and path tracing is definitely the way to go. There's a lot of work that goes into running Elden Ring at a stable frame rate. It's a complex game with multiple systems running in the background. When I tested Elden Ring on the Steam Deck, which is less powerful than the Ally, I ended up sticking with a 30 frames per second lock. On the ASUS ROG Ally, I was able to up that frame rate to the high 40s, but it still wasn't a smooth experience. Now, with the XG Mobile attached, the ROG Ally version is easily on par with the PlayStation 5 version. Running Elden Ring at 4K with ray tracing on may be pushing it a little too hard at the moment, though I think with some optimizations it could be possible. 4K is only using 24% of the XG Mobile's GPU, so there is plenty of power still to be utilised. The best way to play this, of course, is with a mix of ray tracing and 1080p. The 1% lows only drop as low as 49 frames per second, and the average frame rate sits at a smooth 60 frames per second. If noise is a problem for you, you're not going to want to hear the next bit. The XG Mobile's vapor chamber does do a great job of cooling the GPU, but boy does it get loud. Even on silent mode you can hear the fan. This, for me, is the biggest drawback of the XG Mobile. With the power on offer inside of the RTX 4090E GPU, you're going to want to use it. But with great power comes great noise. When running Cyberpunk 2077, I recorded sound levels of up to 70 decibels. It's made worse by the fact the fan whirs, cools the GPU down, then it instantly starts getting hotter and the fan process begins anew. Even with the custom fan curve, the XG Mobile refuses to be consistent. If it stayed at one level, it would be more manageable, but the constant start and stop does grate after a while. Admittedly, it is a problem solved by using headphones, but I don't think that should ever have to be a factor. A better, quieter cooling solution, especially at this price, would have been preferable. The sheer power of the XG Mobile transforms the whole ASUS ROG Ally experience. Instead of a powerful handheld, the XG Mobile turns the Ally into a powerful gaming PC capable of playing just about everything on high. But at $1,999, there's no getting around how expensive the XG Mobile is. That said, some of the criticisms I've seen thrown at this device just don't hold up. Why not just buy a gaming PC? Well, that's an easy one to answer. You can't build a gaming PC with a 4090 for the price of an XG Mobile. You just can't. Maybe a 4070? But not a 4090. It's also important to remember the XG Mobile isn't meant to be a mass appeal gaming device. It's designed for people who've already bought into the ASUS ecosystem and want to take their laptop or handheld and turn it into a gaming beast. Which begs the question, who is the XG Mobile for? Think people who travel and want a simple solution that fits into a case, or people who want an ROG Ally and don't want the hassle of buying a gaming PC. They just want something that's plug and play that takes the worry of building a new rig out of the equation. That, right there, is who the XG Mobile is aimed at. As someone with a PS5, Series X, Steam Deck and ROG Ally, the XG Mobile has become my go-to when playing video games. Being able to run games on the highest settings and install a frankly absurd amount of mods has been a delight. Plus being able to play Starfield at 60 frames per second is cool and something the Xbox Series X can't manage. I'll admit the XG Mobile isn't going to be for everyone, and that's fine. But if you're looking to supercharge your games and you like the form factor, it could be a worthy investment. What do you guys think? Worth picking up, or is this just simply too astronomically expensive? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, and if you'd like to subscribe, that would be awesome. Until next time, see ya.